Been waiting for this one.
Have you?
Yeah, bet. Absolutely. Hey guys, welcome to another Monday morning update with Rozella and Steffani. We're in Spokane, Washington. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. I am well. Thank you so much. Always good to chat with you.
Yeah.
And I know we have another tour waiting. You're going to tell us about another area of Spokane. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, we're actually going to talk about an area just outside of Spokane, which is Airway Heights.
I'm looking forward to this one because I used to hang out over there every now and then in Airway Heights a long time ago. I'll bet
Which bar were you attending in Airway Heights, may I ask?
I don't know why you would think that, Rozella. I was with a buddy, okay? It was fine.
We asked well, that didn't mean that you weren't at the bar.
I'm sure we were.
Well, the reason we asked that is because why?
That is the longest standing building that is in Airway Heights.
Is a liquor store.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
Neither did we.
It was an age joke. That one went right over your head.
We're so funny.
Anyway.
Yeah, you guys are right. No doubt about it. So tell us about Airway Heights. What other good facts and features do you have?
So Airway Heights, for proximity, just so anybody wants to know, if you're in the heart of downtown Spokane, it's just going to be slightly towards the west as you're heading out of town, off of I-90 and just a little bit north there. So
just west of town.
Yep.
All right.
What does it feature and what is it?
So current day Airway Heights has quite a few features actually, and they are on a very broad spectrum of things.
Sorry,
We have a friend.
She is not very polite right now.
She keeps poking me in the back of her nose.
She has a little bit of doggy spice to the video. She's just fine.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. We have to do a quick little history on Airway, just so everyone kind of has an idea of why it was there and why it became a town of its own. So Airway was originally plotted out for what is now called Fairchild, but used to be Galena Air Depot. So we had the Air Force Base here, and in the late 30s, they were like, hey, Spokane, buy this land. We need some housing. So Spokane City bought 1 square mile out on the West Plains, just west of Spokane, like she was saying. The city bought it. And then they had a developer named, you're good with the names? Lundstrom. Oh, yeah.
They were from the west side.
Okay.
And they were known because they were pretty big investors and they had their own real estate kind of gig going over there. So they were asked, they were asked to come over to this side and basically plat it out and start some real estate development. There's 3 different phases. The first and second started in the 40s and then finishing off with the 3rd phase in the 50s. Yeah,
in the 50s. So Airway was mainly built from the early 40s through the 50s and provided housing for that Air Force base there. And then it continued to grow. Some things that came later on in the 70s, they put in a massive water tower that's out there. In the 90s, what did they add in the 90s out there?
That's where all the naughty people go because that's their minimum and medium security prison.
We have guys, so we have the prison in Airway, which is well known.
Yes.
A little other history is our area is well known for the Native Americans. And so out there is the Spokane, I guess it's a trust, actually, reservation that they have out there.
I didn't know that either, but
yeah, 145 square acres is what the Spokane tribe owns out there. So there is the reservation land, which brings
the casinos. There's actually one big casino out there, Quest Casino, and over the last probably even 10 to 15 years, they've kind of expanded pretty heavily on that and made a really cool outdoor concert like venue location, I guess, if you will. They also have invested into kind of like little RV spots and little.
They have a campground out there.
There's the
they have a movie theater. Yeah, there's a racing track out there.
So there's a few things that they actually do host at what is technically the casino
And their
land.
Yeah.
But then really close in that surrounding area. And then more recently, some different shopping, options are out there and other small businesses as well.
Also, there is the Spokane International Airport out there in Airway Heights, which
There you
brings
go.
a lot of people. The airport took off in 1940s. And then that was utilized for the war as well, when they started building that airport. And then I believe in the 50s,
60s, it became the international airport that we know it now today, which is still expanding and growing even more.
Even today, they're building it and making it bigger.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good size airport compared to some. It's true.
It is. So in 2021, the population was just slightly over 10,000. So I bet you we're probably sitting closer to about 15,000 now, if I had to take a guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's grown a bit.
Yep.
Some fun market for current day. Listings on market. There are only 30 active listings in Airway Heights.
Wow.
And 18 pending.
Wow.
Yep.
It doesn't have a lot of
A lot of turnover out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Averaging price is going to be right at
425, 26,000-ish. And what's interesting,
slightly higher than ours in Spokane.
yeah, and of those 15 listings, half of them are actually within the $325,000 to $400,000 price range, which is good. So you can actually find something
So
that's
15
less than the average.
15 listings. That's literally half of the active listings within that area are in that price point. What did you say?
325 to 400,000.
Dang.
So not a bad first time home buyer place out there.
Yes. Phenomenal area to look into if you're looking as a first-time home buyer. But then again, also this is where a lot of our incoming VA buyers will utilize the space and the housing around there for their PCS orders that they kind of get as well.
Because of the Air Force Base, yep, you get a lot of VA buyers out there. People new to the area, a lot of times too.
What's their average days on market?
They are staying on market for actually 95 days, roughly 95 to 96 days. So that is a little longer, but then again, this town does sit just outside of the city limits, and typically people moving there, they're moving there because they work there. They're either going to be military, they're going to work out at the airport, they're going to have a casino, something like that is going to draw people to that area. So if I had to guess, that's probably why they're on market just a little longer, is because it sits outside town just a little bit. But you might have a different theory of why they're on market a little longer.
No,
or an additional theory.
I think that goes along with it. The other thing I would say is probably again with our military, when they do list, sometimes again they need to hold on to it a little bit longer. So oftentimes they're trying to maximize what they can get out of the property that they've invested in. Or sometimes they then convert them, over to like a short to midterm rental. And like she said, it's the main draw, I would say, out there is going to be the military base or some sort of business that's taking them out there. Because just on the outskirts of Airway Heights, we have the Amazon Fulfillment Center. That was the first one that came to Spokane.
Oh, yeah.
In addition, we also have the Western Cat, so Caterpillar. That's kind of a big draw out there. So industrial, stuff that's out that way.
They do actually have an industrial park out there in Airway, now that you mentioned it. Which does draw more jobs as well for that area.
But it is definitely a growing and expanding area for sure. There's a decent amount of new construction that's going out there again.
Well, it was last year, or it was the end of 2022 where they actually started passing the bills to do new infrastructure for Airway Heights. So a lot of the city infrastructure from like the 40s, 50s that they put in place had worn out. So they got the bills and stuff to pass it, redo a lot of areas, and they've expanded their city limits to where their infrastructure is going in. So they now are allowing more apartment buildings, things like townhouses, that type of thing. It's not just going to be single family residents going in.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
Any
that's
questions?
a pretty good glimpse of Airway Heights.
Yes.
And hence the name, right? Airway, because of the airport. Is that what started it all back when the military was there with the airport?
I actually read somewhere that the Spokane or Airway, I know, right, I was gonna say that was the international airport name. Where Airway? Yeah, I'm guessing it has to do with the Air Force Base, if I had to guess, since that's why the town was originally built.
Right.
And I
Okay.
add a note on the type of housing in Airway. If you're not getting into the newer builds that came around in the 90s and early 2000s, the homes that came in the original plots were military homes. They were somewhat cookie cutter style.
Right. Okay.
So
Good to know.
you are looking out at Airway homes, like you kind of know what you're gonna get in certain areas if you're looking within those older communities. So
Not necessarily that charm and that craftsmanship that a lot of people,
within the Spokane
see and
area.
find within
Right.
Spokane.
All
But
right. That's the
and,
lower priced homes in particular, I suspect. Is that right?
And that's gonna hold, I bet that's the majority
The
of the
bulk
bulk
majority.
right in there. And those like 15 listings, if you were to look at them, a decent amount of them, I bet were gonna be some of those older cookie cutter homes.
So not a bad
cookie
thing
cutter.
for an investor to come in and maybe spruce up the place and do some changes and make it a little bit nicer house.
totally.
Absolutely.
Yep. And then there is the draw, I will say, so if you're on I-90 and then you start to head north, which I guess technically it's kind of like that northwest direction, that's when you're going to head out towards like Roosevelt. So Lake Roosevelt, which is a huge reservoir, very
Right.
popular within Spokane.
On the Columbia River.
Yep. And then there's a few little pocket towns that are out there that we'll feature again on another video and talk about those. But then you get back out kind of into a more rural country, farming communities. Yeah, which are really fun. And those would loop back around towards like that 9 Mile Suncrest and the upper part of Deer Park again. So it all kind of links together. That's the one beautiful thing about Spokane and all these little surrounding areas that we keep hitting on these hot topics for, is we're all still pretty closely related with also having their own little spots.
We all have a purpose. I
Makes
believe
sense.
a lot of our community was built on a purpose.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Well, good. Thanks for the tour today of Airway Heights, ladies. Appreciate it.
Yes, of
Absolutely.
course.
Guys, as I say always, if you want someone to show you a little more specific information like a house or two in Airway Heights, the two ladies on the screen right there are there here to guide you on where to go and what to see and where and how to go see it. I'm sure I said that very eloquently, didn't I?
You did great.
Hey,
Yeah.
John, where should we do next week?
Where's what?
Where should we do next week? What are you excited to see?
I am kind of excited if you guys want to do some of the outlying little towns, because I had some friends when I lived there that lived in outside little towns, and those are really interesting. So if we want to start doing a little bit further out, I don't know how far out you want to go. I had my roommate in school, we lived in Wilbur, Washington, is where he was from. I didn't even know Wilbur existed until he was my roommate in school a long time ago. But anything like that, those are fun.
I had an Uncle Joe lived in Wilbur for a long time.
All right, there you go.
Another one we'll have to feature will be Cheney, sometimes often confused as Chennai, but it is not. It's truly Cheney.
Maybe we'll do
Cheney's
Cheney
my
next.
alma mater, so I love that one, absolutely.
No, it is indeed.
All right, we'll do Cheney next week.
Cheney next week, guys. Stay tuned. And if you want any information about any of the communities we've been chatting about over the last number of weeks, Rozella, Steffani's information will be on the screen. Give them a call. If you have any loan questions, give me a call. We're happy to help you out. Thanks, ladies.
Thanks, John. Have a good day.
Yep. See you later.
Bye.